There have been a large amount of new players flocking to the game since the release of WuWa's 2.0 update, and a lot of you might have a hard time potentially learning some of the game's mechanics, systems, or maybe the guides already out there haven't quite clicked for you. In this video, I will be going over every mechanic from combat to the leveling to the gacha in an attempt to help new players better understand and improve their WuWa experience. For those who don't know, WuWa is short for Wuthering Waves. So, starting with combat mechanics, since it's the thing every player will be familiarizing themselves with right away upon the game starting, every character has access to core mechanics like basic attacks, hold attacks, and jump attacks. Every character has a basic attack combo of at minimum 3 attacks, and basic attacks are usually used for building your Resonance Liberation and Concerto gauge. However, depending on the character, they can do quite a bit of damage, and in the case of characters like Encore or Camellia, it is a massive source of damage. Same applies to hold attacks, main difference being that hold attacks is also utilized between most characters to trigger their Forte circuit. Every character has a Forte skill that differs in purpose or utility and can make one character's playstyle drastically different from all the others. For example, Sanhua's Forte is a bar above your HP with a small portion colored blue. You hold attack to time a meter, and successfully hitting the blue will trigger an attack that will detonate the ice from her skill and Resonance Liberation. Remember that each character's Forte behavior may be different as well as how to activate it, so you can get a good feel for the specific Forte by checking the character's kit details by going into the Resonator tab and selecting the appropriate node in the Forte menu. This menu is crucial for understanding a character's role and how they fit into team compositions. You can also test a character's kit in a practice mode once you unlock the guidebook, located in the Path of Growth tab. For now, though, every player will start the game with 6 characters. Spectral Rover and Yang Yang will be given in the first segment of the game, and they are your first characters with interchangeable roles of either main or sub DPS. Shixia is given to you shortly after, and she is a ranged DPS. And Baiji will be given to you a bit later when you're introduced to the Gacha system, and she is going to be your only healer for right now. Sanhua is given to you from the new player login bonus, and finally, as a new player, you'll be given a free general pool 5-star character of your choice upon unlocking the convene mechanic, but more on this later. All these characters are more than enough for a functioning team comp that will get you through the story pretty comfortably. Moving on from the characters, here are some basic combat tips that will drastically improve your performance and also help you better understand how the flow of combat actually works. Be patient with dodging, as you can only spam dodge twice at a time before a brief cooldown where you're quite vulnerable. Instead of spamming the dodge button, evenly space out your dodges to give yourself consistent access. Just to be sure, keep an eye on your stamina, as even successful dodges will drain it. In general, you want to avoid dodging needlessly as often as possible. On the flip side, character swapping and generally greeting abilities is a habit that every new player needs to get rid of. With the exception of certain characters and rotations, if you have an ability off cooldown, use it. Damage output and boss posture meters are affected heavily by how often you trigger intro skills, resonance skills, and liberations. To know if a character intro and outro skill are available, check the Concerto gauge, which is the circle to the left of your HP bar in the HUD. The circle will fill with the use of any action that deals damage or heals in combat. Once filled, a couple things will happen. First, that character's outro skill will be triggered. Next, the character being swapped in will attack, dealing a large portion of posture damage and triggering their intro skill. Intro and outro skill details can be seen in each character's Forte menu. It's important to make sure your Concerto gauge is full before swapping between characters in your team, as the intro and outro skills do make a huge difference. And beyond that, do not greed skills and liberations and aim to use them as often as possible. Speaking of resonant skills and liberations, you can simplify these to being the character's skills and ultimates. Like a lot of the inherent mechanics, both of these abilities have different purposes and utilities depending on the character. Moving on from combat mechanics, the leveling and progression of WuWa can appear a bit confusing for someone that isn't familiar with progression in gacha games. Normally, your character gains experience from quests and defeated enemies. However, in Wuthering Waves, experience from quests is obtained to further your union level or account level. Union level is what determines your world level and all of your characters and weapons level caps. In order to raise the individual level of your characters or weapons, you will find the upgrade button in the bottom left of the screen in the Resonator tab. Upgrading uses leveling materials that can be grinded up using wave plates, the energy system of WuWa that limits your time grinding daily. These leveling mats can be obtained in dungeons located around the world, or more simply, in the recurring challenges tab of the guidebook. Upon reaching the level cap for your selected character or weapon, you will have the option to ascend them, requiring more materials found in the world from enemies. Or dungeons, which are again in the guidebook. Ascending will further raise your level cap, but the option to ascend may be locked behind your Soul 3 phase or your world level. Using similar materials, you can also raise the level of your skills and unlocking nodes in the Forte chart. Staying on top of leveling your characters and weapons as you move through the story will drastically improve your growth and prevent scenarios where you could potentially hit a wall in progression. I cannot stress this enough. Make sure you stay on top of leveling your Forte charts for your main DPSs. One of the other tabs that you will notice in the Resonator page is the Echo tab. The Echo system is WuWa's gear set mechanic, and each enemy outside of Exiles has a chance of turning into an Echo, which you can absorb, equip, and use in combat. Each Echo will belong to a specific gear set, each granting different set bonuses. Echoes will also drop with two main stats, one random and one fixed, set to be on the top and bottom respectively. Echoes can be leveled and also tuned to unlock new substats, one for every 5 levels. I will say that at the beginning, Echo XP mats are scarce, so I heavily suggest to only level Echoes once you are able to obtain 5-star Echoes. You raise your Echo obtained rarity by leveling up the databank, which is done by capturing each Echo for the first time. Doing so also increases your drop rates and raises the max cost of how many Echoes you can equip at a time. Entering the Sonata Gallery tab in the databank, you can study up on all the gear sets and their set bonuses, as well as track every Echo, even the ones you do not have discovered. With Echoes being able to be farmed in the open world, you are going to be doing a lot of exploring. My tips for exploration are, let yourself get distracted. See a chest? A new icon on the minimap? Go check it out. WuWa is one of those games where it's really easy to get distracted, and although the rewards for them are individually unimpressive, they definitely add up. Another tip, this one relating to traversal, your grapple hook is not limited to fixed spots on the map, and you should be using it normally as an extra jump. This combined with the mid-air dodge can allow you to essentially triple jump. Your plunge attack also nullifies fall damage and is much faster for descending high altitudes than floating with your glider. Looking in the pause menu, there are a lot of tabs that do hold significance outside of the 3 we previously discussed. Firstly, the event page. The event page details all login bonuses and combat/exploration events going on at the current time, and you can access each one for rewards and will also lead you to its prerequisite quest if you have not already done it. In the event page, you can also do the trial runs of the new or rerun Gacha characters to see if you want them and like how they play. Other menus of value to you include the team page, where you can adjust your team comps, and the store, which I will explain soon. The Pioneer podcast, which is WuWa's battle pass system, the synthesis page, where you can fuse or transfer materials into higher rarity versions of themselves, and the trophy page, where you can complete achievements for rewards. The final tab I have to explain, and the whole system that makes this a gacha game, the convene page, which leads me perfectly into the next segment, the gacha. As a new player, you will be greeted by quite a few different banners upon opening the convene page. Don't feel overwhelmed just yet, it's not nearly as bad as it looks. The first 4 banners should be labeled with event, 2 of them being character banners, and the following 2 being weapon banners. Ignore these 4 for now, and take a look at the banner with a 20% discount label. This is the beginner banner where you are guaranteed a 5-star character within 50 pools or 5 multi-pools. This will be the banner that you will summon on until you have done all 5 discount multis. Keep in mind not to use astrites on anything but event banners. But you may be asking, then what do I use to pull? You will only use the blue orbs called Lustrous Tides, and you will obtain plenty of these through logging in and leveling up your union level every 10 to 15 levels. Once you get your 5-star from the discount banner, you can move on to the banner on the very bottom, which is your 5-star selector. You will want to pick any 5-star except the one that you just got from the discount banner, as a new character is way more valuable than a dupe. As for which characters to choose, it's honestly up to your preference, but for those who want the best possible start, the best characters that you can get is Verena, followed by Encore and Calcharo. After the choice banner is gone, all of your Lustrous Tides should be going towards the standard weapon convene, where you will work towards building your collection of 4-star and 5-star weapons. While we are on the topic, I will explain how these banners actually work. Both event and standard character banners have 5-star drop rates of about 1%, and you are guaranteed a 5-star within 80 pulls. On the event character banner, once you obtain a 5-star, it is a 50% chance of it actually being the featured 5-star. If you lose the 50%, then the next time you obtain a 5-star will 100% be the featured 5-star character. This is pity, and this will carry over between current and upcoming event banners. As for the weapon banners, a 5-star is guaranteed every 80 pulls, but unlike character banners, there are no 50% chances at getting the featured weapon. You will 100% get the featured weapon upon pulling a 5-star. Again, this pity up to 80 pulls carries over between current and future weapon banners. Finally, moving on to the store. You will find the usual bundles you would expect to see in a free game. However, there are a few things that should be paid attention to. In the Bundles tab, you can navigate to the Level Bundles page for decent rewards every 5 to 10 Union levels. Going down into item exchange, we have 3 important pages. Afterglow Coral, which is obtained via pulling banners, Oscillated Coral, also obtained by pulling on banners, and Title Exchange, which is where you spend astrites in exchange for event or standard pools. It should also be mentioned that the Oscillated Coral shop refreshes every patch, while the Afterglow shop is an infinite supply so long as you have the currency. You can also purchase character dupes with Afterglow Coral. 4-star and 5-star character dupes can be used to unlock new effects in a character's kit by going to the Resonance Chain tab in the Resonator page. So that about wraps up this quick beginner guide. I urge you to do your own research regarding future banners as well as specific builds for each character. If you found this video helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really means a lot to me, and I look forward to seeing how many people it was able to help. Until next time.